What is up, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the most annoying strategy in StarCraft 2. I believe this is episode number 4 of a show where, it speaks for itself, but we try to find the most annoying strategy in StarCraft 2. And today I think I have a fantastic contender, because today I'm going to be doing good old Proxy Barracks every single game. And I'm not necessarily talking about the fancy ones I always do. Okay, well, let's be honest, knowing me, I'll probably end up doing some fancy ones, but today I also want to do the straight up most annoying ones, the builds that just make you feel your blood boil, when you meet them on the ladder. Proxy Rax Marine against Zerg, Proxy Marauders against Protoss seems to be the flavor of the month. And my opponent is apparently doing the exact same. Well, I guess we're gonna try to annoy each other. 3? Wait, what was he gonna do with 3 SCVs? Huh, he was not gonna do the same as me. That is for... Was he gonna Proxy Rax Marine me? Okay, that's very funny. Once again, guys, the warm-up game magic, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Is he... It has to be Marines, right? Yeah, he has no gas. Okay, well, we're gonna have to do something a little funky here. He has 4 SCVs currently out doing nothing, because there's 2 on this guy. 2 are already across the map, if I didn't miscalculate. He's now gonna look for my proxy, but he's not gonna find it. And if my calculations are correct, I'm still gonna beat him in a very annoying manner. And you might be wondering, how can you know that already? Well, so what I'm thinking here is he's going for Proxy Rax Marine, right? That means that he is gonna die at home to my single Reaper. And then I should be able to hold off with my SCVs, hold off his attack with my SCVs long enough that I can get a bunker at home and then win that way. I think there should be 2 barracks over here. He didn't make any gas. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's just going to be a good... I can't believe he actually did send more across the map. I'm going to do something that's slightly unexpected. I'm going to get 1 SCV off of gas. Now, let's see. This is pretty sneaky by me. Oh, it's not going to pay off, unfortunate. Okay, well, I thought I could maybe kill that Marine real fast. I can still get this one, I think. I'm going very far here, but keep in mind I'm also distracting him, right? I'm going to go attacking over here. I have 1 Marine up. The Reaper is going to be in trouble for sure. This is going to be very tricky here because I'm going to have to make sure that this bunker gets up and I have a Marine to put inside the bunker. There we go. That is now alive. This bunker is absolutely gold tier right now. I got a second Reaper on the way as well, and I think that my prediction is going to come true. He's going to run past the bunker at some point. That's what he's going to try to do. He can't really come back because he's just going to be losing his stuff. So he's going to try to run past the bunker with those Marines, but I think there's no way he's going to breach it. Probably should have repaired those a little earlier. He's trying to go back to mining. Kind of expected him to go across the map already. I don't think... I should be making a depot, but I don't think it's that good of an idea, actually. I should just be... Okay, and now we focus fire down the Marines one by one. Pulled my SCVs just in time, and this is going to force a GG for my opponent here. Doesn't have anything back at home. I'm not pulling my Reapers back yet because I'm pretty sure that he put them inside the command center. He's trying to kill as many workers as possible. No GG is going to be called. And there you go. Fantastic warm-up game to the most annoying strategy, number 4. I'm not sure if it was a good idea that I still proxied after he saw me, but when I saw the 3rd SCV, I just realized it was going to be Marine. If you're going to go for 3-Rax Proxy Reaper, if you're curious why that couldn't be the case, you actually only use 2 SCVs because you make a gas. Your 3rd SCV that arrives doesn't have minerals to make the barracks, so you just make the 3rd barracks with the same SCV that made the 1st one. So the moment I saw the 3rd SCV, I figured it was going to be mineral-only mass Marine and that I would be able to win with just 1 Reaper on the other side. I'm very happy that my calculations paid off, made for a fantastic warm-up game. Let's keep it going. Game number 2 is against a Zerg, and I think we're going to open with the Proxy Rax Marine here. You guys know that my personal preference would be the Proxy Reaper. Very likely that we're still going to see it in this video because realistically these games are going to be super short. But I don't think there is a more annoying build to play against as Zerg than the Proxy Rax Marine. It's one of those builds... Like last game I didn't even get to finish the intro, but what I was going to say is if you're playing ladder, you always have... at least an idea, maybe not necessarily the exact plan, but you at least have an idea of what you want to practice, right? Most of the time, I don't know, for example, you want to practice some macro games where you go for roaches against Terran, or maybe you have an even more elaborate plan. Maybe you're in the mood to make some lurkers or something along those lines. And then before you can even get started on your plan, you're already going to get attacked by Marines. It's very likely you lose a lot of MMR as well. And it just feels horrible, you know? It's very plan disturbing. Now, it is a very important part of the game, to be honest. It's not necessarily... I would say that you can get high MMR without being able to defend those builds, but it still just feels like a shame that whenever it happens, that you lose to it, right? So it's an important part of the game that you know how to defend it. If you can't, you are going to get some very painful losses now and then, but once you get good against these cheeses, I actually think it feels very rewarding, because when you do play against those players, sometimes there's players that are high MMR and only do Proxy Rex Marine, for example. Feels very rewarding when you study it and you can just absolutely crush them, right? But sadly for my opponents, hopefully, sadly for my opponents, they are going to be losing some MMR here. Now, I'm doing a little trick here, is that I'm hiding the third barracks out of sight, okay? I'm going to do actually a double trick here. So the reason why the third barracks is far away is so that if he would have scouted it with the Overlord, he would only see 2. And that requires a different response than 3 racks Marine, okay? If you see 3 raxes, what you can often do is you can just give up the natural, go on one base, make roaches, and you're completely fine. If you try to defend the low ground against 3 racks Marine, it actually gets very, very complicated, and this is already a really good start. He's gonna lose... Oh, I should have been able to kill that drone. It's a bit of a mistake by me. Exactly. He's trying to defend, but there's just too many Marines that are going to come in. He's going to get Zerglings out. He's basically trying to delay my bunker getting in front of his base. That's why he's pulling the drone so far. But I just have extra Marines. So even though the Lynx get out, I'm still going to have more than enough Marines to push through. And with the Proxy 3-Rex Marine, he's not actually going to kill that, by the way, because I have repair. Oh, that hurts my soul to watch. The Overlord's going to die as well. And now we're going to go for the finishing touch, because I think he might have made a Spine Crawler. It doesn't look like he built it, actually, but I'm going to be safe. I think, judging by the fact that there's no spine, I could have just pushed through. But I did expect there to be a spine, so I'm just going to pull the SCVs in case. He's going to leave the game because he clearly has lost too many drones already. I even had more Marines than he had Zerglings at this point. And no GG. So far, we have received 0 GGs out of 2 games. I'm not expecting a lot of GGs, because I said this is a really good contender for the most annoying strategy, and so far I think that's going to be true, or it looks like it's going to be true. I already was pretty convinced of it at the start, and yeah, I can't really blame him. Like I mentioned, incredibly annoying to play against. I think I didn't lose a single Marine. I think that was 1 SCV, considering I only had 2, so he lost almost 1,000 resources, and I lost 1 SCV, and that's before my SCV train even arrived. Anyway, games are really fast, like I said, so let's just keep on going. Game number 3 is going to be against our first Protoss at 6,000 MMR. Now, this game is going to be a slight experiment from me. I might have mentioned it in the intro, but against Protoss, I wanted to do the Proxy Marauder because it really seems that that is just the build that pisses Protoss players off the most these days. But I never actually learned to do the build perfectly. Right? Like, it's always been one of those builds that I would do sometimes and just kind of wing it, you know? Like, I don't know how many SCVs you build, blah, blah, blah. Now, what my theory is going to be for this game is that I think Protoss players should... I'm going to say should carefully because I'm not sure they have. They should have learned how to deal with this build by now, while taking an expansion, because that is one problem that Proxy Marauder had, is that some Protoss players, they would defend it on one base, but then if it's not as committed as possible, like let's say Terran went up to 16 SCVs before making Barracks, then they sacrifice their natural and Terran is still in a good spot anyway. And I think the build is perfectly defendable when you take your natural, you just have to know how. And my theory is that they will have learned that by now, and so he's gonna defend his natural. And that's why I skipped every single SCV. As you can see, I made my Barracks at 12 supply to make this happen. So we'll see. Hopefully, we can get another non-GG. I feel like that would be perfect. Imagine if we could get a perfect streak today. Like, let's say every game takes about 3 minutes. We win 10 games with 0 GGs. Now, that would probably confirm that this strategy is indeed the most annoying strategy in StarCraft 2. Now, I wasn't sure about making the orbital here because it does feel quite expensive, but the meal is really going to help, right? Like, it's going to be, I want to say, about 4 SCVs less that I have to build, so that obviously sounds quite nice. We are being scouted, and this is an important point, because he should be able to tell that I have even fewer workers than you normally would have with this build, right? Like, some Protoss players, or no, well, in this case, Protoss players, I don't want to single out Protoss players in particular here. Exactly. Some players, they just don't look at things like that. There was even an example that I think I mentioned it before, where a pro Protoss player called Petit Drogo, extremely good. I think at the time he was probably maybe the third best Protoss player in Europe or so. Yeah, apparently he didn't even look whether Terrans played gas first or Barracks first, even though it was a massive deal. So if, you know, someone like that doesn't pay attention to an important detail like this, I'm sure that a barcode on the ladder could potentially also not look at how many workers I have. Now, this is going to be interesting how we play this. So you would think, wait, this looks pretty good for the Protoss already, right? So the thing is, Stalkers are armored, okay? They take extra damage from the Marauders. At some point, you can just kind of kill the unit through the battery. You can also kill these probes in 2 volleys, by the way, yes. At some point, you do so much damage that you hit the HP instead of just the shields, if that makes sense. And then, oh, he's going too far forward here. That's going to be a dead Stalker for sure. There we go. Can I get that one as well? If he's greedy, should be able to get a good amount of probes here. Looks like he's going to keep chasing this one. Okay, let's make sure to actually show the important probes. There we go. And it's going to stay alive. He did stop my snowball for a little bit, though, so keep that in mind. So now we have 5 Marauders. One of them is low. You can also pull the SCVs with this, similar to what I did in the last game. In fact, I think I'm just going to go for that, because why the heck not? I think I'm going to mine 2 more trips on gas, so I have 2 more Marauders in me. I'm going to have 9 Marauders. I think 7 is also already enough to go for the Stalkers, probably. So let's give that a try. It's going to be a nice experiment. Okay, here we go. Do we 2-shot? Yeah, we do actually 2-shot. Okay, there we go. We get that one as well, I believe. Yeah, it's just crazy. Even with batteries, it's like one of the only compositions where you can... Oh my goodness! Even with 5! Wait! I thought that would take 4 volleys? But with 5, you also 3-shot the Stalker through the battery. Like, look at how sad this looks. Normally, these batteries, you have to fight and fight and fight, and they're going to be completely out of energy. But these batteries have almost 200 energy combined on 3 batteries. As you can see, his tech was very far away. This was only a second gateway building that was also still far away. And you guys can imagine why this build pisses Protoss players off. Now, I'm very happy that once again my calculations paid off, because I did say he probably would have figured it out. He tried to defend the natural. If you guys want some tips, because I think this can be very annoying, I believe that the right thing to do, I know it sounds weird, is actually to make Zealots and Adepts and then go for Immortals. And the reason is that Zealots and Adepts don't take bonus damage from Marauders. So even though they are worse against the Marauders, you actually make use of the shield batteries, and it takes way longer for Marauders to get through them. And then by the time you get an Immortal out, you can pull the probes, and you'll probably win the game that way. If you go for mass Stalkers, you really need to micro like an absolute beast, because, I mean, this just looked incredibly hard. Like, he pulled the probes, he did a pretty good job, but they just die so freaking fast. Even now, he already took care of 2 or 3 Marauders. It still dies instantly. Probes obviously not going to do anything, and this is an absolutely brutal cheese, and that is 3 wins in 10 minutes. Game number 4 is against the same Zerg player we already proxy marined. Okay, well, this is clearly going to be a very difficult one, because we're going to have to switch it up, obviously. I was already going to do that regardless of which player we would play against, but he now knows that we are cheesy buggers. Now, he might figure we're going to be doing the same build. That's not going to be the case. I'm going to go for my Proxy Reaper instead. Now, the other day, I read a comment on which video was that? I think my Spinecrawler Rush video, right? Where someone said this is more like speedrunning SE2 than the speedrunning SE2 video was. This game is a very similar contender. I think I remember that in that video, I also said, you know, that we got 3 wins in 10 minutes. So currently, we're on the same track. I think in that video, we ended up playing 6 or 7 games. If we keep this up, we're going to be able to play even more in just a 10-minute time frame, or a 30-minute time frame, sorry, which is the usual length of videos that I aim for. Now, let's see. I did make 1 SCV more than I usually would. I don't think it matters too much, I guess. I'm trying to think if it does or not. I don't think it really does. I mean, most of the time it kind of just comes down to the micro. It very often comes down to the Zerg knowing how to defend it or not, because if you don't, I think you just die. It's actually quite... I wouldn't say it's complicated, but you need to be smart and quick about it. So what you try to do with a 3-Rax Reaper is that you make a bunker on the ramp. Let's see, is it possible? Creep spread is pretty big these days. They increased it at some point. Maybe I can make a bunker like here or something. You try to get a bunker out on the ramp. And then if they don't deny it, then they're pretty much screwed, because you can just dance in between the main and natural, and their hatcheries can't connect their units, right? They can connect their queens, because I guess they don't die very fast. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. So we're gonna go up against a pool first build, and that is extremely unpleasant, because I think pool first should counter this pretty significantly. So I guess we're going to see how that's going to play out. Now, I went for an extra fast 3-Rax Reaper. I did actually send 3 SCVs. I guess that's because... what is the difference there? I guess it's because I made the extra SCV, right? That's probably what the difference is here. So I guess in this case, I haven't really had this scenario before. I'm just going to make the bunker on the low ground, since the hatchery is not finished yet. Okay, 1 SCV is going to go back home. I guess I don't really need that one. He's going to have 1 queen. Okay, so he's going to try to pull everything down to the low ground here. Yeah, this is going to be a bit annoying, because I'm going to have to fall back with these guys. And now what he's going to do is he's going to buy time with the drone pool to get the spine on the low ground. That is the idea from him. He's making... Did he cancel it? There's no way he's making another one, right? Making 2 spines against the Reaper cheese is kind of crazy. He did actually make 2. Okay, interesting. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak around. This bunker is going to be a fake, basically. I'm going to sneak around, guys. I'm going to use this SCV to make a depot over there. Look, he's not going to have speed yet. I don't know when speed is going to finish. It's OSA, so he is going for a speed build. Ideally, I want to trade against the links. Yeah, so speed is already finished. We're going to have to be very proactive here. I know you're going to have more links, so let me throw some grenades down here. This is my specialty when it comes to micro, and we are going to get a fantastic initial start to the battle. Pull the lower HP Reaper to the back. We have the Knight of Zerglings, and now we can throw grenades against the drones as well. Let's see if I can save all of those. No, GG is called once again, and he was down to 5 supply. That is brutal. Well, I am a little flabbergasted, because I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to win this. If we play 3-Rax Reaper against pool first with speed, I think you're supposed to be cooked. Now, I did see one very big mistake here by my opponent, and that is that he has almost 200 gas mined. I don't know if he was intending to go for some kind of roach attack, but if you do, you wouldn't go for link speed. So I think that he mined the extra 100 gas by accident. Look how much gas he's mining. He mined over 100 gas too much, 108 gas to be exact. That could be another queen building. He forgot an Overlord as well. Oh, this is painful for him. I think we have annoyed him into tilt. Well, I guess that's kind of the point of this challenge, so that is a success. Let's go to game number 5. Game number 5 is against another Zerg player. Well, I mean, we're just going to keep proxy raxing, so I'm going to bust all the ones that I have out here. I think this game we're going to go for the Proxy 4-Rax Marine. Now, this is going to look relatively similar to the Proxy 3-Rax Marine, mostly because I pulled the SCVs, but it is a different build order. So, Proxy 4-Rax, I mean, I'll just explain it, thoroughly. So you have Proxy 2-Rax, Proxy 3-Rax, and Proxy 4-Rax Marine. Proxy 2-Rax really is just a... I don't want to say minor, like you do need to do some damage, but it's a minor damage dealing build, okay? So you kind of want to kill 5 drones and force a bunch of links and make the build awkward for him, stuff like that, okay? With Proxy 3-Rax, you want to kill at least the natural, and then you kind of want to get some drones as well, because like I mentioned in the 3-Rax game, if they go for roaches, like they just sacrifice it completely, they go for roaches on one base, and that is not the best situation for you. But if they kind of go back and forth a little bit, they try to defend the natural but fail, then you're going to find yourself ahead. With Proxy 4-Rax, there is no transitioning at all. You can't even afford an orbital with this, really. You just want to make 11 SCVs at home, which is going to be the 10 I have plus the one I'm building now. And then you go into most of the time you ignore the natural, you go straight into the main base, and you just try to win right away. Because if they survive even a little bit with, let's say, a Roach Warren on the way, or more Queens on the way, or Spine Crawler, you're just not going to be in a good place. Because you do need some kind of a follow-up. If you don't have it, like you can't afford to make gas, you need to make an orbital first, and then gas, fly all the barracks home. Well, not being able to produce Marines is just a nightmare, right? So you really want to be able to kill them. Actually, a little bit of a tip I want to give in case you guys are going to steal this. If you do Proxy 4 racks, you want to build it a little bit further away because you save units like this, okay? If you do Proxy 2 or 3 racks, you kind of want to build it a little closer. 3 racks I already showed you, 2 are close, 1 is far away. If you go for Proxy 2 racks, both of them are close. If you go Proxy 4, you can even build them here. You just really don't want to be seen by an Overlord, so this is ideally a bit too close because you want to save up 5 Marines and then go for it. Like, it's really a full-on surprise, right? You don't even... there's a chance he would have scouted me already. There could be an Overlord here that saw my proxy, and then he would be prepared, and that would be very unfortunate for me. Overlord now, it's around the timing he sees my natural, but I don't think he's going to be... Exactly, he's not going to be too prepared for this. He's making a spine already, but obviously I'm already here. Now, this is the one thing you want to do when you go up against... Zerg with the Proxy 4 racks is that you want to kill the queen on the natural. That is actually very important. The reason why is because if you don't kill the queen and you go straight for the main base, the queen is going to keep killing your reinforcing marines. Now here I'm going to target on the spine crawler because that's obviously the biggest threat. Then we're going to start microing again. And the micro that you have to do with the marines is relatively simple. Obviously, you know, the mechanics of it itself you're going to have to practice, but really you just kite forward, and then when the lings attack you, you kite backwards. It's really not rocket science. As you can see, the lings are coming closer. He did some rocket science there because he freaking transfused a Zergling, I believe. And as you can tell, he's already... Oh, we got a GG! Okay. I was gonna say, as you can tell, he's not very happy with this game because he already would have left at this point. Resources lost once again, discussing 350 against 1831. But Tengu, first GG of the day. And kind of surprised. And once again, I don't really blame anyone for not GGing in this episode because I'm going to repeat it again. This could very well be the most annoying strategy, and it can be very disruptive for your ladder flow, so I completely get it. But Tengu deserves an applause. First person to GG out of 5 Grandmasters. That is, I think, 19 minutes past and 5 wins already. I think we can sneak in 3 more games. This time we're playing against a Protoss, and the Protoss is called Denver. Now, Denver is a retired pro Zerg player, so it's possible that it's him. I'm not entirely sure. I would kind of guess that it's him, mostly because the portrait looks like something he would use. Big fan. I mean, it probably means it's him. Not sure if he's going to be a big fan of me after this, though. Now, we're going to have to do a different kind of proxy racks here, guys. Love that. The support, guys. Love getting support from the homies. Gotta give support to the homies back. I think he's probably... I'm actually kind of curious. Fun fact about him is that he was a basketball referee. And I'm kind of curious if that's actually what his, like... We'll see. If that's what his full-time job became. I made a depot, right? I did make a depot, yeah. Okay, slightly late there. So I'm gonna go for a Proxy 2 racks Marine here. Against Protoss, this is a build that either looks amazing or really bad. That's, for some reason, that's just kind of how it goes. I've never been, like, super convinced that it's amazing, but then sometimes I go on amazing winning streaks. Now, I did have a video a while ago where it was called I accidentally invented the most disgusting cheese. Terran cheese of 2025, I believe it was. The reason why I remember the title so well is because I saw I was posted on the Dutch Reddit. Because back then I had, like, the auto-translate of the titles on. And it literally translated, like, to Dutch. I accidentally invented the most disgusting earthly cheese of 2025, and it just sounds hilarious in Dutch. It literally sounded so stupid. But anyway, I found out that on a lot of these maps, what you can do is you can wall off their nexus with 2 bunkers, okay? So on a lot of maps, it's like the ramp will be here, and the nexus is here, and then you can put 2 bunkers like that. This map, sadly... Let me just make a face to him to add the tension a little bit, because he sees I'm proxying him. On this map, that's not going to be the case, so we're going to have to be a little more, well, a little more micro-intensive about it. We're not going to get an easy dub, that is for sure. I'm going to make the bunker all the way over here. I'm going to use my SCVs to scout. No pile on the low ground. That is very good news for us. Now, I'm going to follow this up with something super cheesy. And that is... Wait, actually... Can I... Okay, I'm gonna do something a little crazy here, guys. Normally, you make a factory. Okay? You just make a factory right now. What I am going to do is I'm gonna make a gas before the factory, a second gas, that is. And then go for 2 factories at once. Now that Nexus is definitely dead. He's going to cancel it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight into the main base, actually. I think that is... Oh, he's not paying attention. Oh, that could have been very painful for him. Going to go straight into the main base, go for the double factory, and we're just going to try and kill some workers here. That is the idea. Going to fly my barracks home already. Going to do a little bit of micro here. Once again, all you really have to do is you just kite backwards. Now, I'm standing still because he is going to be running away at any moment. Let's see if I can get a couple more probes. That is the goal. I did not make a wall off. That is something to keep in mind. That could be painful later on. Okay, can we get that one? I would love to get that one. I'm not going to be able to get it, sadly. Okay, so I'm going to put these barracks like this. And then, actually, I kind of need one... Oh, I forgot about the new thing. Oh, no, I forgot about... No, I forgot about that thing. I forgot about that. Right now, you can't salvage the bunker anymore if it's being attacked. Oh... He didn't even know. That's funny. Yeah, I guess he doesn't play super actively anymore. Yeah, if it gets attacked, you can't salvage it anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna have to make a command center behind this. I would say that it was a successful start. It's kind of hard to measure. Okay, if I was playing fully economically behind this, I think we would be buzzing. Considering we're not, I think it could be tricky. I think that's the fairest assessment. So I'm still playing a really crazy build behind this. I'm making a command center because, I mean, I could make naked marines as well. Maybe that would have been a decent way to spend my minerals, but realistically, I'm gonna win or lose this game with my mass cyclone stuff, right? So I'm going to fly this barracks across. I'm going to try to get vision for my cyclones. I'm actually tempted to cancel mag field, but it's going to be... Wait a second. Ooh, guys. Oh, I'm incredibly tempted right now. Okay, I don't know if you guys realized what he was doing earlier with that probe. What he was doing is he was mining out the gold mineral patches in case I would have just kept the contain here. So he was going to mine these out to go here. But what I can do is I can mine them out. Oh, there's an oracle. Well, that oracle's going to die very fast. Oh, I think he actually turned around in time. I don't have a scan for it. Is that a proxy oracle? Hey, that is quite nice for us, by the way, because oracles are not going to be that good against this strategy. But I can mine out these patches and walk through there with my cyclones. That way, I don't have to walk up the ramp. Okay, so he's going to lose that instantly. That is nice. He did see my command center, of course. Oh, I think he actually did revelate. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so he is going to be able to see that I'm mining out those patches, which is going to be slightly unfortunate for me. He did lose the oracle though, so I'm actually going to make use of the opportunity and just go towards the front. I'm going to fly that barracks in. Since he did go for the oracle, he's very unlikely to have anything other than that tech-related. Oh, these cyclones are going to pop off. Look at this. There we go. He's going to try to kill this one, but that's going to cost him another stalker at least, I think. Yeah, that's a lot of stalkers going down. And the path has been opened, but I already killed a stalker, so it doesn't really matter anymore. Now, I also got mag field. I'm going to use these SCVs to be able to repair that cyclone. He is surely going to try and go for it. A little bit of micro is not going to do me any harm, but it is going to do him harm. Look at that barracks giving vision. It is such a beautiful strategy. I'm gonna make an engineering bay. He's obviously gonna be trying to target those low HP cyclones. This cyclone is gonna get another lock on that is not gonna be broken because I do have that barracks, and this is going to be a very painful game for Mr. Denver. Gonna try to move that back once again. The micro has been very, very good on these cyclones, I will say. Nothing to complain about. He's gonna try to kill that one. He is gonna get one in the end, but it's not gonna be enough to stop my cyclone push, and there we go. So it was indeed a proxy Stargate like I thought. I only saw the gateway over here, I believe, earlier when I entered with my Marines. Is that correct? I think it is. Yeah, exactly. 2 gateways. So we did go for the proxy Stargate. Let's look at the situation of the game. We have 20 SCVs against 16 probes. 1 base against 1 base. Mules are going to give me about a 3 to 4 advantage, right? Because that's how much a mule mines for, basically. And I have 2 factories coming up against 2 gateways, and the tech hasn't started yet. So I would say that this build definitely worked. Going for the 2 factories behind it is a little cheeky. It's maybe not something that you should do if you want to play risk-free, right? I mean, if you're doing this build, and if you're watching me, you probably don't play risk-free anyway. But just saying, if you just want to go for the Proxy 2X Marine and follow it up, then maybe do something else than this. But I really like this follow-up. I think this game was a little longer, so we have time for one final game. Let's do it. Final game of the day is against 3 Hatches, another Grandmaster Zerg player. Now, we have the final Proxy Marine left, which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go for the Proxy 2Rax Marine. Now, with this build, you can win the game. Okay, earlier I said that you don't have to, but you can. Well, hopefully you win the game, right? But I mean outright, right? You can win the game outright, but you don't have to. But it's still possible. And this game, I'm going to try to make it happen. I'm going to build my barracks relatively close. Sometimes, I know it sounds weird, but depending on the... Oh, I should make another SCV. I was so in the spirit of Proxy 4-raxing that I barely made any workers, but 15-15 is usually alright. But sometimes, depending on the timing, you could want your opponent to scout your proxy racks. The reason why is because some maps you can build them in a very good position. This is not ideal what I'm doing here because there's not too much space for me to hide. But on some maps what you can do is, like, for example, you can build them here and here. I wouldn't recommend this specific one because then your marines are actually stuck. But sometimes there's only like one little space for the marine to get out. So then if they pull drones, it doesn't actually do very much. And sometimes they panic and they pull way too many and then it doesn't do anything. And then you're also good with that, right? So it's a very... You know, a build that requires specific execution and specific counters, and even if you get scouted, for some players it could be worse or it could be better. Really depends. If this guy is extremely good against proxy raxes, then I don't want him to scout it, right? But if he panics, then, well, that's perfect. It's a good thing to know about someone if you do it in a tournament, for example. Like if you play someone that's nervous, they're gonna get the proxy racks, you know? I know it sounds very brutal, but it's just the way it is. Now let's see, we're playing on Ultra Love. Oh, there's actually one version that I maybe could have tried to do, which would have been... It's not the... It's a very funny version. It's objectively not that good, but it's something you can do. You can do the same build, but pull a third SCV, and then on maps with ramps, you can block it with 3 bunkers, which is just insane. Now I'm just gonna go for the bunker here. Could have built it on the low ground too. This map doesn't look like it's the best for Proxy 2 racks because... I mean, first of all, I can't make another bunker already, but I do need high ground vision as well, right? Now, judging by his response, he's not taking this super seriously, guys, and that could cost him, because this game, remember the explanation I was giving before, this game I'm going for the Proxy 2 racks, and now he actually does want to defend this on the low ground. Now, he could be going for a spine here. It doesn't look like there's a spine yet. Okay, yeah, this is pretty much exactly what I was talking about. It seemed like he is going for sacrificing the natural and going for roaches, but I am only going for the Proxy 2 racks. Now, I'm going to do something super sneaky here, guys, and that is that I'm not even going to make more marines. This could really bite me in the butt, okay? This is a very risky move. If he's going to go for mass marines, then this was pretty stupid, but since it seemed like he was going to go for roaches, I flew my rack... Actually, ooh, the SUV... Okay, so it is roaches, but they were... Huh. He looks like he's trying to save the natural with the roaches, which is interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to go for targeting down the hatchery, and that is obviously going to be fantastic news for me. Now, I can save a bunch of these marines too. I think I can save 3 of them, maybe 2. That depends on how good his micro is. And now all we have to do is to just make sure that we don't die. I think since he went for actually pretty greedy by me to make the CC before the cyclone there, that's gonna work out pretty well in the end. He's not gonna have enough gas to make Ravagers, so we don't have to worry too much about getting our wall broken. And it's gonna be an interesting situation here. I went for a slightly delayed factory, and judging by how this looks, that could cost us a couple of SCVs. We're gonna have to see. You can always micro against this, by the way. He could fall back as well when he sees that the cyclone is almost finished. I'm actually gonna go for the repair here. I think I don't really want to lose the depot too easily. Oh, he went for the Ravager too. Okay, that's quite nice for me, because I do have the Cyclone already, so this is going to be defended. Let's see. Ideally, I lock onto the Ravager next. If I can make that happen, that would be splendid. Let's see, I'm going to go in, and then we lock onto the Ravager. There we go. That's very, very nice. A little bit of missed target fire by him. Then I'm going to surround him, and then in the middle of the surround, we back off, because we just want to get rid of... You can see he's chasing the SCVs, right? We just wanted to get rid of pretty much the main roach count. I do need to make sure to repair this. It's going to be quite close. It is going to live indeed. And there we go. So it is a pretty good hold by us in the end. I'm going to try to make an adaptation here, which is to stop mining gas for a little bit. So I can resaturate the bases. Okay, I'm tempted... Okay, okay, what I'm doing now... I know I make a lot of crazy adaptations. This one is really not recommended what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna put one in gas so I can make stim. I'm gonna put both my barracks on tech cloud. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit too crazy, I'll be honest. Before, most of the things I do are like sensible enough. This is a little bit insane. I'm gonna try to follow this up with a super greedy omega stim timing, basically. That's the idea. Okay, so he went for a fast third hatch. That probably means he's not gonna have too many units, if I had to guess. Probably skipped link speed for a good while as well. I would imagine he's making roaches right now. He's also making things from those eggs. My marines being here is a little risky. I'm really doing this because I'm trying to kill the third hatchery. He made a spore crawler. Okay, interesting. So he went for link speed after all. I'm just going to use my cyclones. Let's see if I can get rid of those zerglings. There we go. I was going to try to use my cyclones to kill the ravagers, but it's actually going to be quite difficult. He's going to... Oh, he target fired the wrong one. That's nice for me. Both of those fall. Now I'm going to get those over here. And our build is actually working out pretty well. His link speed was a little faster than I had anticipated, to be completely honest. So he could catch these cyclones depending on how many links he made. If he doesn't, I think he's going to die. And it's a brave prediction, but sometimes I'm overconfident. Most of the time, I tend to be pretty accurate in my brave predictions. So what I think here is if you play against the stim timing, you want to be very clean, like very, very clean. I'm not just going to have stim. I'm going to have stim and combat shields with medevacs. In fact, I really... Yo, am I going to get even crazier here? I would be very surprised if he... Oh, I think he's trying to bait me, but I have enough marines. He's just gonna lose an overlord. It looked like a bait overlord that you would put there, you know, to make him send their units that you run in with links. I could pull the SCVs with this. And I'm very tempted to do it. And when I am tempted, I usually follow through. You guys know me. In fact, I'm already gonna go for it. The medevacs can boost and fly after. Let's see. Okay, so now he sees my massive army move across the map. To be fair, he could also defend this with roaches, but he would have had to make a lot of roaches. And since he did go for the link speed, I don't think he did. Quite worried for our opponent here. If he manages to defend it... Well, actually, okay, to be fair, he did have a lot of transfuses. Right? I saw a lot of transfuses on those queens earlier, I believe. Could be wrong on that, but I think that's what I saw. Now, here are the SCVs. I'm just going to run straight up because I really am not expecting banelings here. Hopefully, I'm not going to be wrong on that. Exactly, here we go. No transfusion on this. Yeah, okay, he went for double upgrades. Look at this. Wow. What an SCV pull. This was great. This was really a great move to go for the SCV pull here because he did have a lot of stuff. And now we're going to... Okay, that was not the best micro by me. I feel like I could have done a better job of moving those SCVs out of the way. Now we get the Cyclones a little back, pick that one up as well. And those Marines are just doing such a freaking awesome job. Really not the easiest battle ever to micro. Made a couple of mistakes there. The Spore Crawler, very, very, very annoying for my medevacs, by the way. Good drone drilling by him, but he is going to lose those drones. Now he doesn't know that I sacrifice my SCVs for this. I'm not 100% sure we're out of the woods yet here. Something I'm going to do is I'm going to start making Marauders. Yeah, I'm not 100% convinced on my victory here yet. Oh, I should have been ready there. In fact, wait, okay, am I going to do this? I think we are going to do this. It just seemed like the right thing to do. I'm not sure if it was. He calls GG. Okay, actually, well... To be fair, I wouldn't call GG here, but I see why. Because I thought that he had these upgrades, but they actually didn't start yet. But, I mean... If we launch mules, we're going to be barely up in eco. He does have roach speed already. I do have medevac drops. I would say that this game is slightly in our favor, but not enough that I would have GG'd for him. But once again, this is the most annoying strategy series, and I can imagine that he was quite annoyed. He did really build this third hatchery quite fast. I want to applaud him. Like, I actually think he did fantastic. And judging by... my SV count was way lower than I expected. Okay. So we were actually in a tough spot, and we played well after this. That is good to know. Yeah, I guess we should have not delayed the factory. If you guys want to know, it's very technical details, not going to bore you with it too much, but if you don't want to delay your factory, you get the gas at 16 instead of 17, what I did, and you also make the factory right when you have 100 gas, which I believe I didn't. But anyway, that is 7 games of the most annoying strategy. I think it's a very good contender. You guys let me know what you thought. In the end, we did get 3 GGs, so 3 GGs out of 7. Not bad at all, but that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys had a fantastic time. If you did, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all for the next one. Adios.